Hey everyone, this is the third part of the lecture on environmental discourse. Obviously, you can tell that this is a Mr. Shank production because of all the dank memes, which there's just too many memes. All right, environmental discourse. What's going on? Environmental discourse, okay? Debate. All right, we're talking about the environment, okay? So we're debating about climate change. Not so much that if climate change is a thing, it's a thing. It's a real thing. It is real. Okay. But the discourse comes in. All right. So how do we effectively deal with it? And then when you're talking about that environmental discourse, how are you trying to protect the environment but protect business interests at the same time? Because that's the trade-off right there. Business and environment protection really don't go hand in hand. Okay, you're either screwing over businesses or you're screwing over the environment. So, how can you uh, do that in the best way possible that's beneficial to the environment without destroying? Yeah. Who benefits the most from climate change denial being spread? Uh, Big corporations. Okay, typically big corporations that are involved in natural resources, as oil companies, coal companies. Okay, countries that base their entire economy off of oil. So Nigeria, Saudi Arabia. Those are just two options. Okay, so corporations and countries that are based entirely off of natural resources. All right. How can I, John Q. Public, help the environment? Okay. So the whole purpose is you got to try and limit pollution and resource depletion. All right. You want to limit the amount of natural resources you use. Now, individual stuff is fine. It's not going to take the place of countries changing their policies. But, just little things like can make a difference in that, recycling, try not to drive as much, like condensing errands, that sort of stuff. What social changes are needed to help the environment? How can you educate the consumer to, how can you educate the consumer and make it enticing to do environmental friendly things? Those are the social changes that need to be there. Economic changes. Well, if I want more companies to use solar or wind energy, you've got to give companies an economic reason to do that. So, are you going to give houses rebates? Are you going to give companies rebates if they use, uh, you know, um, renewable energy sources? Are you going to tax companies that do not? So there's this whole idea of a carbon tax where the amount of carbon that you produce, you would get taxed on. And pretty much even businesses will agree on that. And actually, oil businesses agree on that because they're not dealing in carbon, they're dealing with oil. So they would be fine with that. But so you're either taxing people to as a punishment, or you're giving subsidies, which is government money, to, to entice people to do so. Can we help the environment as humanity continues to develop? Yeah. The whole thing is like how do you change your life to promote economic or environmental sustainability? All right. What is needed to help the environment? Well, you need worldwide governments to recognize the problem, and they need to put forth money to solve the issue. It can't just be individuals. Okay, it's got to be worldwide governments coming together and A, recognizing there's a problem, and B, putting money towards that problem to create better technologies that use renewable resources. Okay. Gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Hope you enjoyed all of Mr. Shank's dank memes throughout the whole process.